Alright, the next project we're going to work on is building a screen filter for the cistern, so the pine needles and stuff that fall on the roof and go into the 275 gallon IBC totes will be filtered, at least the big debris, until it comes inside. Then it goes through a 3-tier filter system. So I had this little doohickey which worked, but it's so small and it doesn't give a lot of space for water to go through. And then also, as you can see, my dog got a hold of the screen and tore it up. I went to Home Depot and this is about $40 to replace. So I'm like, why spend another $40 when it clogs up so easily and it's hard to clean out? So what we're gonna do is I got a 3-inch diameter to 2-inch reducer. I got another one of these that we just use for the 275 gallon IBC tote. It's got the 3/4 inch threads because I have a 3/4 inch pole inside the cistern and the adapter to go into it. I also have a clamp because I went ahead, I got a roll of screen, and we're going to be taking the screen, cutting it into squares, and we're going to put several layers on the bottom of this. We're going to put the clamp over top the screen, tighten the screen to this. The water will drop in, the screen will catch everything. With the 3-inch diameter, a lot of stuff can build up before I have to clean it out, unlike with this thing that about every 50-60 gallons I had to clean out because I do not screen my gutters coming down. Instead, what I do is once a year during the rainy season, when I have a lot of extra water on hand, I go ahead and flush the tank completely out and blow about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of sludge off the bottom. I don't do that multiple times a year because I'd rather just let it build up, do it one time, waste water one time versus wasting water several times. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get some plumber's putty. We're going to get the plumber's putty, put it on the threads. So with the plumber's putty on the threads, that will stop the leak of the pressure coming through the pump over to this. And then, like I said, we're going to be screwing this into the cistern. So that's good on that. We're done with the plumber's putty. Let's go ahead and take the primer and get the inside of this primed. And go ahead and get the adapter primed. Now that that's primed, we're going to go ahead and take the glue. Get some glue on it. And then go ahead and press it down until it's fully seated. And then we're going to go ahead, I got a little extra glue on that. I'm just going to take a paper towel, stick it inside, and just soak up that little extra bit of glue so it doesn't run all over the place. Now that we have that done, let's go ahead and get the glue closed up so that it doesn't go bad. Close up the primer so that doesn't go bad. We don't have air leaks because I keep these things inside due to the fact I don't want fumes in my house. So I make sure everything's nice and tight. Gonna go ahead, fold that back over. We don't need the gloves anymore. These are just nitrile gloves that you get at Home Depot or Walmart. You're gonna go ahead and get the screen open. So what I'm gonna do to make this easier and keep the roll is I'm gonna mark this out. Let me grab a knife real quick. I'm basically gonna mark this out, and I wanna leave, let's see, about an inch and a half on this side, and an inch to inch and a half on the other side. And then I'm gonna place the knife where I need it, and go ahead and just cut right through the entire roll. Scissors, just finish. Now I can take this roll, I can use this for another project. I'm not wasting a bunch. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unravel the screen, and we're gonna look. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna leave about an inch and a half on both sides. Go ahead and cut the screen. And then you can sit that back to the side, and then the whole process is the same thing. You just go ahead, you mark it with the scissors where you want to cut your next one, and you go ahead and cut the next one. And the same process again. What I'm doing, because this screen is a larger whole screen than the previous, I'm going to make multiple layers so that if a pine needle decides to try to go through one, it's not going to be able to keep going through, because it will eventually get caught and stuck in another layer. So for now, I'm just going to do 5 and see how that works over the next several times when I pump water from my barrels. If I need to add more, this roll will be sitting here, and I can figure out the size and add 1 or 2 more layers. If 5 layers is too much, then I can go ahead and pull 1 layer or 2 layers, whatever it takes, and I can work with it. And that's one part of homesteading. It's trying to figure things out, and what I call it up here is mountain man ingenuity. Instead of spending $40 on another filter system, I'm going to design my own for, I think this was $3, that was $2, so that was $5, and then $6 in the screen. So right there, you know, you're looking at $11 versus $40, and this will give me more water flow, and I can hold a lot more material without it clogging everything up like the other filter did. So basically, all you do is sit all the screen over top like that, and as you see, you can't really see a lot of light through there, which is what we want. And then we're going to go ahead and tighten this up a little bit. So we're almost there. And basically, I didn't grab a flathead screwdriver, so I'm not going to walk off camera and grab that right now. So basically, you're going to put that on there, you're going to tighten it down, and then tomorrow I'll show you it tighten, and then we're going to go ahead, thread this onto the system inside the cistern, and I'll show you how I plumbed that. And the next benefit that this has over the $40 thing filter is that there's screen here on the bottom. When the water runs through my hose pump through the hose into the cistern. It goes through this filter, the water drops out the bottom. There's no containing water. Now with this, the $40 system, the one pain in the rear thing that I had was when I threaded this into the system inside of the cistern, this tube held water. And you can't just open this up and let the water out, because then all the debris goes into the cistern, which would void out the whole point. So what I had to do, because of the freezing temperatures, is I had to stick a bucket inside the cistern underneath of this, unthread this, let the water dump into a bucket, pull this out, bring it inside. That's how my dog got a hold of it. With this new system that I'm designing, which I believe is going to work, we'll find out, I'll do an update in the future, is that the water is going to drop in there and drop out. There's nowhere for the water just to sit in a tube like here. It will not freeze, it will not crack, the water will fall through, the material will be here, and maybe once a month, or depending on how quick, I'll have to check the filter. You know, I might only have to change it once a month. I might have to change it twice a month. But with this little filter system, like I said, every 50 gallons or so, I was changing it out because of pine needles and things like that. This was a tutorial on how to build your own filter system, and it will be finished up tomorrow. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you then. Alright, so since the other filter was narrow, wasn't 3 inches wide like this one that I built, I can no longer use the hole that I have on the cistern on the side of the intake because it won't fit. Now we're going to have to go ahead and drill a hole and use the lid as the new filter system. So I got a hole saw, so I'll go ahead. I'm just going to drill a hole right here. Alright, we have our hole. What we're going to do is I have the shaft that I used prior, and the bottom will screw right in there like that. We got rubber gasket on the bottom. Feed that through. We're going to take the other rubber gasket at the top, put that on, and tighten it down. We got channel locks. That's on like that. We go ahead and flip this over. We're going to put our homemade filter on. Because we use plumbing putty, you don't have to go super tight. That should be good enough. Plumbing putty will keep it together. Go ahead, take the lid, take the whole mechanism over to the tank, and make sure it works. Because as you can see from this tank right here, from all the snow melt, my tanks are filling up quick, so I'm going to have to start pumping water into the cistern and move the water from the cistern into the house, since I didn't do that prior. So let's go ahead and go up the ladder. So as you can see, I just threw the snow from up here into there. My water's pretty full. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this hose. Sit the lid on. All right, perfectly shuts. Then we go ahead, hook the hose back up. Basically, this hose goes down below to close to that water tank where that blue hose is. And I use a pump and pump the water up. The water is going to go into the cistern through that filter. And hopefully that filter will catch the pine needles, the leaves. And then this is the hole that I had, and with the narrow wall, 3-inch piece would not fit without the wall being cut out. So I'll go ahead, I'll get this patched up later this year, and I'll do an update after I empty the tanks in the next couple days. Alrighty, so now it's time to get some water inside my house into the 700-gallon cistern, so that way I don't have to worry about water anymore. As you can see, the 4 bolts that are coming out of the tank, that was a custom inlet outlet that came on the tank. Then I went ahead, I got a 2-inch screw-in adapter and coupler, changed it to a 3/4-inch adapter, ran some steel pipe from that to the valve so I can turn the water on and off. Then I go ahead, I hook up the pump hose, which is connected to the little pump that I got off of eBay for about $18 out of China. It's just a small little, I think, 1/8 of a horsepower or something like that. Now I run the black hose. Black hose comes around, goes in my pantry door. And then in the back there is a hole that goes down to the tank underneath the house. And as you can hear, that water's just pumping like crazy. So hopefully I'll have the 700 gallons in the house within the next 30-45 minutes or so. And then I can go ahead and start pumping these tanks through the new screen filter that I put on the previous video. And I'll use the same pump, and I'll pump it up to the top of the cistern and retop the cistern off. Between all of the tanks, I have 3 on my house roofs. And as you can see right here, I'm already over 175 gallons in each tank. And all the tanks get approximately the same amount. So right there, you know, I'm already well over 400 gallons. So 700 into the house, 400, 500 into the cistern. Nothing like catching free water from Mother Nature. Have a good day.